M16 on Magnum, now live to right. German Luger to hype, AK make no feud, lose them life is a nine. Take a piece of 45, M16 on Magnum, now flex to right. German Luger to hype, and AK make no feud, lose them life.
WEFM, the clean fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Good morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is 7:16 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Eastern Caribbean. You're listening to Ari, and with me is Roleza, and we are Activated Mornings this morning. Just want to say good morning to everyone on their way to work, school, just waking up, just starting your day, just having breakfast. Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone on our live on Facebook and YouTube, WEFM 99 SVG, and good morning to everyone locked into 99.9 WEFM, the clean, fresh sound. Most importantly, good morning to you, Roleza.
Morning, Ari. How are you? This blessed, what you just call it? Junior Eve? Weekend Eve?
Friday Eve.
Friday Eve, right. This blessed Friday Eve.
I don't know how I feel this morning.
Yeah.
But, man, how are you?
I'm all right. Well, before we get into that, I realized it rained.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised when I was going to go into the vehicle, and I realized, I was feeling kind of moist. What? And yeah, it rained. I didn't even realize at all. I think I noticed that whenever it rains, I go into a very deep sleep. So I'm never really aware of when it rains and so forth. But yeah, I'm happy for that. Show CWS is also happy for that. Those persons who are catching water in drums, etc. I'm sure that they're also happy for that. I'm not sure how much rain actually fell, but yeah, every little bit will count or add up eventually. So yeah.
Good morning to you, and on the live.
And Trevor as well. Good morning as well, Trevor.
All righty, then we have to now discuss what it is that took St. Vincent by shock yesterday. It feels like we were going through a relatively peaceful period, and then I would say roughly 5 to 6 p.m. yesterday, we saw reports of someone being shot and killed in Morris Village. So reports are that a man was approached in Morris Village and shot multiple times in his face. There are videos on social media of persons reacting. There's one with a lady over him crying, screaming to the top of her lungs. There's one with where you can see police either arriving or departing from the scene. It's a good morning, Joshua, as well. It wasn't a pretty sight at all. And then less than 5 hours later, there was another shooting in Redemption Shops, just a few, maybe 1-2 miles away from where the incident happened. It's not that far. All of them in East Kingstown, all in the same surrounding areas. And the difference is this time it is being reported that the police were the ones who shot and killed the second person. Now, it is being alleged that the second person that was killed was responsible for the first shooting, and police tracked him down. Now, I was on the live for Eyewitness News, and the report today was reporting that persons were saying that the police shot the guy down like a dog. He kept repeating that. So I'm wondering what exactly happened in Redemption Shops last night. Well, I don't know. What do you think, Roleza?
Okay, well, to be honest, I wasn't on social media last night. So I didn't see any of that. I just saw the headlines in terms of, or being alert that two individuals were killed last night. At this time, we still don't know the circumstances in both matters. And, I wonder if part of me did not rush to social media to look at it, if it's because I'm now a bit desensitized towards everything. Because if you have to ask me now how many persons have been killed for the year, I can't say, right? I am no longer keeping track. I'm no longer keeping score, which does not mean that I do not care, which does not mean that the lives of the persons who have died, that their lives don't matter. But it's maybe unfortunate for me to say, this is just me personally, but sometimes when you get to a point of being tired, if you kind of remove yourself from situations, or you don't become as emotionally involved anymore. And I think that is the point that I've gotten to, which is possibly very unfortunate.
Well, there's a story here on ANN Asboat News Network, and it reads, police acted swiftly in dealing with the recent shooting incident involving murder suspect Romano Pompey, also known as No Mercy, who allegedly shot Zenroy Chucky Lee. According to reports, Pompey had an argument with Lee, which escalated into a violent confrontation. Pompey left the scene, but later returned with a gun and shot Lee multiple times in the face before fleeing. However, the police were able to locate and apprehend Pompey within hours of the incident, ultimately bringing him to justice. Their quick response and effective action demonstrate the confidence and capability of law enforcement in maintaining public safety. According to given information, it appears that the local police swiftly initiated a search operation for the suspect, which ultimately led them to redemption shafts. It seems that during the pursuit, the suspect, Pompey, noticed the police and opened fire at them before fleeing into a downstairs area. However, the police managed to corner him and subsequently shot him. A close relative of Pompey, who claimed they witnessed the shooting, told ANN, I heard the police siren and saw two officers by a jeep. Shortly after, I heard a series of gunshots and witnessed the police officers reloading their guns and shooting again. The witness described the incident as a brutal murder. They shot him like a dog. The police department had an eventful day today as they discovered two bodies, one in Beckway and the other in Argyle. Although the cause of death is yet to be determined, police are actively investigating the case. That's an interesting wording for a story of this nature. But yeah, according to ANN, the two got into an altercation. Pompey allegedly shot Chucky and fled the scene, and police found him, and they exchanged shots, and the police ultimately came out on top and murdered him. But it always goes to show conflict resolution. You guys got into a heated argument, and your first thought, because the sun was up, when you saw the videos of the body on the floor, persons crowding around, the sun was up. It looked like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. So you didn't consider any type of consequences. Now, I don't know if it was Pompey that shot him, but whoever the shooter was, you didn't consider anything at all. You just opened fire.
And I suppose this is what the problem is, as the question is as well. And I guess I'm curious as well to whether or not these individuals knew each other before. What was what was their relationship like in terms of, was it a contentious one, if they had one, and maybe would any of them involved in criminal activities before as well? So I think all of those questions also do need to come into play. But it's I think based on what had happened last year in terms of the numbers constantly going up and up and up and up and up, at this point in time, I don't know how to feel. I legit don't know how to feel. Do I like to hear that we're having 2 murders in a day or 2 persons being shot in one day? No, that's not what it is I would like to hear happening here in SVG. As Ari's saying, do persons even know how to resolve conflict? Do persons even stop and think, well, if I react in this particular manner, if I use this particular word, if I go and I get a weapon, even if it's just a weapon to hold up to say that you're threatening an individual, you don't have intention necessarily to use it, but to threaten, what could possibly be the consequences of that action? Do persons legit stop and think, what can happen to me in this particular instant, and what can happen to me in the long run? So I know that the police are doing their walkabouts within the other community, in respective communities or in several communities. But part of me also wonders, should there be a bit more of a national sensitization or a little bit more of an education regarding how persons can resolve conflict? Should maybe police officers, good morning, Dave, just give me 1 second, please. Should police also find ways in which they go about, let's say to the boys on the blocks in the communities, teaching them ways of how they can resolve conflict? Dave, good morning, and how are you?
Yeah, good morning. You know, I just heard you just stimulated me to call you, where you said you don't know how to feel.
Yeah, I
don't.
I really don't.
No, I could understand. That's why I call, because this is such a sensitive issue. And it's not just sensitive. But what you say about me, what's been around for a while, and I call this program because I'm very, very, what's the word to use here now? I'm very, very concerned, extremely concerned. It's overbearing and all of that. When I get up, it never used to be like this to me. At your age, at Ari's age, it never used to be like that for me. And it seems as though we have developed a culture that we can just get up one morning and just shoot somebody, not only morning, whatever time. And where are all these guns? How are these guns arriving here? Well, I hope with that big those guns that came in Camden Park I'm talking about. I hope we find out, or we know who they are, who are behind all these guns, because we are not in the Gaza, we are not in the Middle East, but it seems as if somebody is trying to create a scene like that right in Civil and Grenades. We don't even want to come like Haiti, because Haiti can't function as a society in this 21st century. So I'm always concerned, but when I hear you say you don't know how to feel, I could understand. I have to get myself accustomed to this, because this is not what I grew up with.
Dave,
so something is definitely wrong.
Dave, would you consider yourself an alarmist?
Alarmist? Why?
Because
Tell me why.
every time we come to the conversation about gun violence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you paint a picture like it just started, let's say 1 year, 2 years, 3 years ago, and you had no idea.
I seem to what?
You seem to paint a picture that is a recent development, and it never happened while you were growing up or while you were a younger adult.
No, it never used to happen like this. I can
really
answer that.
Really?
It never used to happen like this.
What side of St. Vincent were you living?
I dwell in the city. I used to be all in Bottom Tongue.
Okay, you used to be in Bottom Tongue when there's shootouts between police and other people in Bottom Tongue? You used to be in Bottom Tongue when they were shooting in Kittles, Chauncey, Vermont, Leyu? Because I grew up hearing these news reports. I grew up in Kittles, hearing the gunshots myself. I know of situations in surrounding areas, so it's always confusing to hear someone more older than me, say things like that.
Okay, but confusion? Well, I don't understand where we're going with this, because I am just telling you that when I was growing up,
but you are also in the media, so it's always confusing.
Okay, so let me ask, throw it to both of you. Is it a case of the frequency that maybe why Dave says it the way he does? Is it the frequency of activities and not necessarily? Yes, they would have had gun-related violence back in the day, right? I'd say back in the day.
I ain't going into talking about all of it, but it happened quite frequently.
When I'm telling you about a different generation of mine, my generation and yours, there are many more like me who don't speak like me or who don't speak out like me on these matters. Yeah. But they are aware. They are so frightened. Some of them can't. They're so frightened.
Okay.
What about if you hear? Anyway, let me not say that, because I don't want to provoke anything. But all I'm trying to do, I am not telling any lies. You can check the records of way back, and you will see how much borders we used to have. This
Reported
more the
murders.
surge, if I can call it. This is a recent thing. It's a recent thing.
Okay.
Reported murders.
All right.
But
Thank
the
you.
time is
All right.
7:30. Thanks for your contribution this morning, Dave. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with your traffic talk at 7:35, and at 7:45, Activated Morning returns.
Shop at Lanes, where you come first. For value and quality, you can trust.